shots fired. 204, shots fired. Guys? Yep, right here. Yep. Get down, get down, get down! 211 and 4, shots fired. 211 and 4, shots fired. You got eyes? Yep, right here.
She had her little 27. Ooh, shit. Woo. What went on?
Well, Janine, we're at the Belt Atlantic Apartments in the 4000 block of Midlothian Turnpikes. Hard to see here, but police are still on scene, and they say they will be on scene throughout the night collecting evidence and doing interviews. What I can tell you is that the family of the woman that is dead is a mother, tells me that she is a mother of two. Police say their officer fired rounds on her as she fired rounds as they approached the apartment building on the 3rd floor. Family members say the woman had been going through a tough time. The father of her youngest child had died recently in a tragic accident.
Who was she shooting at? Was she shooting at the Opps?
And just prior to the shooting incident, a social media post was made alluding that she was in a grief-stricken crisis mode. The call came in tonight around 6:47. Officers were hearing shots being fired as they arrived here at the Belt Atlantic Apartments. Police say they did recover a weapon on scene near the woman, and their officer is, as standard protocol, is placed on administrative leave pending a criminal and internal investigation. Chief Rick Edwards spoke to us as well as Dr. Gwen Andrews from the Police Chaplain Corps.
What?
Later, as officers are marking on scene, they start hearing additional gunshots and seeing individuals advising them that a person is upstairs and directing them to that person. When the officers are climbing the stairwell, they hear more gunshots. One of our police.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, she was going crazy at the door. It looked more so like she was trying to shoot the door open versus shooting at somebody. If y'all seen the footage, y'all can go back and look.
Officers confronted an individual, an adult female, discharged his firearm. That individual was shot and subsequently pronounced deceased on scene.
Police do what they do. We are here to support spiritually as well as clinically. Okay, you've seen me. I've been pulling persons. We've been talking. We've been de-escalating. And I think all of those skills are necessary. But also there's a trust factor. Okay, and so again, you see me pull different individuals, as has my colleague, Chaplain Cruz, and that's important.
Right. What'd she do though? What's wrong with
And there was a pretty large scene of family and friends gathered here on scene tonight. I am told by sources that this woman's children, they were not in the apartment when all this went down. So that is the good news, if there is any good news in this situation. But police continue to investigate this incident. Again, a woman dead after a police-involved shooting here on the city's south side. A lot of questions to be answered. The officer is on paid administrative leave pending the outcome of a criminal and a personnel.
They still ain't told us why she shot at the crib. They saying her kids went in the crib. What she was trying to do? Kill her kids?
Internal investigation, so a lot of work to do here for major crimes detectives this evening.
There are some stories that don't begin with violence. They begin with grief. The kind of grief that changes the air.
Yeah, he let that be loose though.
The kind that
lying.
makes people stop answering phone calls,
He let that
stop
be
sleeping,
loose.
stop acting like themselves. And in Richmond, Virginia, one tragic death will spiral into another in less than 48
That's what I'm
hours.
saying.
A
That's
young
crazy.
mother, 2 children. A
Left 2
disturbing
kids behind, gang. Left 2 kids behind. You did all that for them babies to not have no parents at all. Now they either got to go with grandmama, godmother, godfather, or they got to go to the adoption center. That shit make no sense. People just don't think. They just do without thinking.
message online, gunshots echoing through an apartment complex, and a confrontation with police that ended in seconds, but left an entire community asking the same haunting question: could this have been prevented? Because before the body cam footage, before the headlines, before social media exploded with arguments over what happened that night, there was a woman named Jasmine Wooten Mitchell, And according to people who loved her, she was breaking apart long before officers ever arrived. Tonight, we're diving into the final hours leading up to the deadly confrontation that stunned Richmond, and the mysterious chain of events that pushed a grieving mother toward a moment no one saw coming. To understand what happened on May 7th, 2026, you have to go back one day earlier, May 6th. That's when 35-year-old Larry Donnell Johnson lost his life in a devastating crash on Warwick Road in South Richmond. Police say Johnson was found unresponsive inside a vehicle that had slammed into a tree. But what made the situation even more disturbing was what allegedly happened first. The driver of the vehicle, identified as William Sumner Jr., reportedly fled the scene, leaving behind wreckage, questions, and a dead father inside the car. Authorities later tracked the suspect down at a nearby motel, but by then, the damage had already been done. Friends say Larry Johnson wasn't just another man in a police report. He was known throughout Richmond RVA bike life community. A father, an entrepreneur, someone people recognized, someone people loved. And according to Jasmine's family, his death shattered her emotionally because Larry Johnson was more than someone she knew. He was the father of her 7-month-old son. And those closest to Jasmine would later say the grief hit her like a tidal wave, fast, violent, and impossible to control. As the city mourned Larry Johnson, something darker was quietly unfolding behind closed doors. Family members later revealed that Jasmine had become emotionally unstable after learning of his death. People close to her say she was spiraling, and then a message appeared online, short, cryptic, but deeply alarming. Quote, "I love y'all, I'm checking out."
What?
Unquote.
That's a deep message, bro. When niggas get to posting shit like that, you need to go find their ass ASAP, call their ass ASAP, and make sure they good, boy. A lot of people don't be checking up on their peoples, bro. Just randomly check up on one of your homies right now. If you watching this video, call your homie, ask him, "Hey, bro, you good? Your day been good? Anything you need to talk about?" I bet you he start talking about it, whatever, versus you not calling that nigga, and then he do some dumb shit. I bet you this, like, the shooting with the police probably not could have been invented. I mean, the shooting with the police probably couldn't have been avoided. You feel what I'm saying? But her pulling up with Blick and shooting whoever's door this is or whoever in that crib, that shit, it could have been prevented.
6 words would send panic through friends and relatives almost immediately. Some believed she was suicidal. Others feared she was having a psychological breakdown. But no one could have predicted how quickly things were about to escalate. Less than 2 days after Larry Johnson's death, 911 calls suddenly began flooding in from Belt Atlantic Apartments in South Richmond. Witnesses reported hearing gunfire, chaos, screaming, and someone inside the apartment complex. Jasmine Wooten Mitchell was holding a handgun. By the time police rushed toward the scene, the situation had already crossed into something terrifying. It was approximately 6:47 p.m. when Richmond police were dispatched to the apartments. According to investigators, officers arrived within 4 minutes, and almost immediately they heard gunshots. Not rumors, not confusion. Actual gunfire echoing through the complex. Later released surveillance footage and body cam video would reportedly show Jasmine firing into an apartment door and toward an open stairwell. Police say residents were nearby. Officers themselves were also in the line of fire as they approached, and in those moments, everything became unpredictable. Witnesses described fear spreading through the building, people ducking in fear, trying to understand where the shots were coming from, trying to understand why this was happening at all. Somewhere in the middle of that chaos, a grieving mother stood armed and emotionally shattered,
Right.
and officers were seconds away from making a decision that could change multiple lives forever.
Right.
Back shortly. Thank you, Megan. Tonight, Richmond police releasing new video that shows the moments before an officer opened fire and killed a woman.
It happened 2 weeks ago at the Belt Atlantic Apartments. In addition to the body
I ain't
cam.
gonna lie. That's, as an officer, bro. Alright, I'm gonna put myself in the officer's shoes. As an officer, if I'm walking up the stairs, bro, and as soon as I step and I see you and you shooting at the door, I'm gonna shoot your ass too. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna pop your dumb ass. Cause what are you doing? If you're not self-defensing yourself, why is you shooting at the door, cuz? Like, a lot of people be looking at these situations and be like, oh, the officer did this, the officer did that. But what if she would have turned around and popped the officer? Then everybody be like, oh, she justified, and like, no, bro, it don't work like that. The officer is human too. And at that moment, it's a split decision moment. You barely have 1 to 2 seconds to even make that decision. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, a lot of people don't be putting themselves in an officer situation. If other people was the officer, they'd be like, oh yeah, it was justified. I had to do this. You feel what I'm saying? But it's not cool to lose a life. It's not cool to take a life. I'm not saying that at all. But the fact that she did some dumb shit that led up to this is her fault. At the end of the day, it's her fault.
Video security footage was also released showing 31-year-old Jasmine Wooten Mitchell was shooting too.
Richmond reporter Madison McNamee joining us live where this all unfolded there along Midlothian Turnpike. Maddie?
Kurt, Jasmine, it seems like the shooting all took place in one of these open stairwells, just like the one you see behind me right now. That is part of the reason why our legal analyst believes those officers were justified. And all of those moments are captured on video here. And we do want to warn you, some of this might be disturbing.
Chilling video released by Richmond Police Thursday shows the final moments before an officer opens fire and killed 31-year-old Jasmine Wooten Mitchell.
It sounds like the 4th of July around here.
Belt Atlantic neighbors heard the May 7th incident, but had no idea what happens leading up to it. Body camera and surveillance footage now giving them a better picture of what police confronted.
As she's shooting, she's not shooting at them. It's going to appear that she's shooting at them, but she's not. She's shooting at her door.
911 calls came in just after 6:45, alerting RPD of a woman with a gun.
This lady's out here shooting. I got kids in this house. She's shooting.
Video shows 2 officers approaching the complex.
Hey, what's going on? Hello. That's the police. Police department.
So whoever is shooting knows that the police are there and that they are approaching.
Right.
Nevertheless, a shot is fired.
This angle shows that moment from the officer's perspective.
She didn't start shooting until they was already right there. So you feel what I'm saying? It's like, damn, who's she shooting at? What's she shooting at? Officers gotta make that split decision instantly.
You see a bystander go down, but we know no one was injured. An officer then draws his gun.
He is an open target to whatever threat is at the top of that stairwell. He has no time for de-escalation.
That's what I'm saying.
He has no time to try to use non-lethal force. He has no time to take cover. He is already exposed.
Another angle from the apartment's cameras shows that same moment, but more of what's happening at the top of the stairs. Jasmine Wooten Mitchell appearing to fire at the door, feet away from the officer. Police ask her to drop her gun.
Drop the gun!
And then shoot back.
The officer did not know what was going on, but he knew that as he cleared that stairwell, that he was being fired at, or someone was.
People who knew and loved Jasmine say she was going through a mental health struggle after losing the father of her children that same week.
The police called. They was like zooming, zoom, 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 zoom. And when I went around there, she was on the steps. And it was terrifying, the way they just had her like that.
Despite the number of shots fired.
That's a strong ass door, boy. Only one bullet. I mean, did they all go through the crib? It looked, bro, that door's strong as shit, though.
And people nearby, nobody else was hurt.
And police could not comment on this video today. They say the investigation is still ongoing. The Commonwealth's attorney is also going to be reviewing all of this. And also, the officer you saw firing his gun, he is on administrative leave right now.
Police say an officer ordered Jasmine to drop the weapon. What happened next unfolded incredibly fast. According to authorities, the officer opened fire. Jasmine Wooten Mitchell collapsed at the scene. Despite officers attempting first aid afterward, she was pronounced dead. Just like that, 2 children lost both parents within days, an 11-year-old daughter and a 7-month-old baby boy. And almost immediately, the case ignited emotional debate online. Some people argue officers had no choice. Others questioned whether a woman clearly experiencing a mental health crisis could have been handled differently. Because beneath all the arguments,
how they supposed to know she over there having a mental crisis when they just get a call? Hey, shots is being fired. Shots is being fired. I got kids in the house. Shots is being fired. How they supposed to know that? All they know is a nigga shooting. That's literally all they know.
There was another disturbing layer to the story. Jasmine's children were not inside the apartment during the shooting. No one else was physically injured, but emotionally, the damage spread far beyond that apartment complex. Friends described her as broken by grief, a woman overwhelmed by trauma, and now 2 funerals were being discussed in the same week.
For her to have to leave this earth the way she left this earth, yeah, I'm angry, I'm mad.
Loved ones of 31-year-old Jasmine Wooten Mitchell are remembering her tonight after the mother of 2 was killed in an officer-involved shooting 2 weeks ago.
8 News reporter Sarah Molina spoke to Wooten Mitchell's best friend. She joins us live in our studio now with the sad details on this. Sarah.
Yeah, Eric, Heather, loved ones say that Jasmine Wooten Mitchell was more than a life lost. She was a great friend, a sister, and a mother. Tonight, family and friends released purple balloons in her memory, a color they say Jasmine loved, but also one that symbolizes mental health awareness. As friends tell me, the 31-year-old struggled with her mental health for years. This story does include video from the officer's body cam, so we want to warn you that it can be difficult to watch.
As purple and gold balloons float into the sky, loved ones gather to honor 31-year-old Jasmine Wooten Mitchell, killed roughly 2 weeks ago in a Richmond officer-involved
shooting.
shooting.
On May 21st, 2026, Richmond police released the 911 audio and body cam footage tied to the incident. Officials stated the release was part
Regina
of
Lewis
the
says she's been best
department's
friends with Wooten
transparency
Mitchell since
protocol.
5th grade.
The
two were so close that Lewis says she was the last person on the phone with her the night she died, during the tragedy unfolded.
The Richmond Commonwealth's attorney is reviewing the shooting to determine whether the officer's actions were legally justified. But for many people watching this case unfold,
Lewis says many people shot her. Watching the footage was multiple. Lewis says watching the footage was painful but important, adding that she feels crisis intervention training for law enforcement needs improvement.
We wanted people to see what we saw. We wanted them to understand why we feel the way we feel. The purpose of the police is to feel safe. We're supposed to feel protected. And in that situation, I didn't see no protection.
See, this is the problem with the community, bro. Imagine you being the police gang and niggas is shooting. What is you gonna do? You gonna sit there and try to talk to them and be justifiable? No, bro. Because if they shoot your ass, you gonna be like, damn, I wish I would have shot him. What?
Time she was shot to her laying on the ground to even her body.
She says Wooten Mitchell faced mental health struggles for years and struggled after the father of her 7-month-old son passed away in a car accident less than 48 hours before she died. Mitchell also leaves behind an 11-year-old daughter.
I don't think it's hit them yet. And of course, they're young. You're not going to really realize the absence until you go to talk to your mama and she's not there.
Or after the funeral.
Now Lewis tells me she will continue keeping Wooten Mitchell's legacy of love alive as she pushes for more mental health resources for those struggling. Richmond police say the shooting is still under investigation and the officer who fatally shot Wooten Mitchell is still on administrative leave.
What makes this case so unsettling is how quickly everything unraveled. One fatal crash, one grieving family.
One moment, one decision literally led to this girl dying. Like, you can't really beat that, bro. And it's like, yeah, you can say mental this, mental that, mental this, mental that, bro. But at the end of the day, the officer had a job to do. They're trained to do their job. It's not like, and it was a black officer. It's not like it was a white officer. Like, oh, I see a black person with a gun, I'm gonna spray their ass. Like, no, it was nothing near that. It was literally he literally got to the stairs, heard shooting. He had a decision to retreat, or you feel me? It could have been him getting shot at. He gotta stand here. Officers got an option to stand their ground too. You feel me? They don't know what she's shooting at. They don't know who she's shooting at. That's their job to see what's going on. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there's two different ways to the stairway. They could have went that way. She could have went down, pointed the gun at them. Boom, blick. It could have been the same way. Come that way, corner the gun, blick. Like, y'all just gotta like leave it for what it is. Like, yeah, it's sad. Life was lost. Deepest condolences to the babies, her family, all that. But this was a poorly chosen way to do what you had to do. Why is you shooting at an apartment door, gang? There's no need for that. Like, there's really no need for that, bro.